Hi, this is the boutonniere that we are going to be making today, and I just love making boutonnieres because the flowers are so on display because they're right there on the lapel and almost at face level, so everyone notices them, and there aren't that many flowers that go into a boutonniere, so you really get to look at the beauty of the petals and the colors. And so I am just really looking forward to making this one. This is super cute in my opinion. So let's get started. The flowers that we'll be using today include these fuchsia color flowers with the nice yellow centers. I'm not sure of the name, but there's some sort of dicot. We also have these billy balls and then some tapata leaves. And as far as supplies, we'll have some pruning shears, or you can also have floral scissors to cut the stems, floral tape to hold all the stems together, and then we're using some fuchsia ribbon to play off of the fuchsia flowers. And then we will have some hot glue to hold the ribbon in place, and scissors, of course, to cut the ribbon, and also some corsage pins for the finished boutonniere. So what I like to do when I'm creating the boutonniere is to determine which parts of the flowers or leaves I would like to use. And there's options on this one. We can either use the very tip top, or there's also these side branches. But looking at it now, it would only allow for us to use the very tip top because we do want to have a little bit of a stem. And so that would make it somewhat short. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and select the top leaves for use. And then I'm going to decide to have the billy balls rising above the fuchsia flowers. So let's go ahead and place those and see how it looks. So I'm thinking something like this, and then having the fuchsia up against it, and maybe another fuchsia down here. I think that looks rather nice. Okay, so we'll just start with the billy balls and the leaves together. And then as far as the stem goes, I'll just go ahead and cut it down here, which is about 4 inches below this tip top part. And we'll remove these leaves because they're much too low. Okay, and then I will go ahead and place these billy balls on here. And sometimes you want to take a look to see if there are differences in sizes, because if there was, then I would put the smaller one on top. I think that just looks more aesthetically pleasing, but they do appear to be about the same size, so it doesn't really matter in this case. So I'll put this billy ball on top, and I'm not really liking the back side of this leaf, so I'm going to go ahead and snip it off so that we can only see these shiny green fronts when we're looking at the boutonniere. So I have the billy ball slightly above the top leaf, and I'm just going to put a little bit of tape here just to hold it in place as I work on placing the other stems. And next will be the belly ball, and I decided that I was going to have it slightly off to the side here. Okay, so with these fuchsia colored flowers, there is an option where this one is much smaller than these two, so I am going to put it towards the top, and just so I can make sure that I leave enough stem, I'll just cut it down to where the other stem is for the billy ball. And if you have any leaves that aren't looking so pretty, such as these brown ones on this one, go ahead and pick those off, because these flowers stand out on their own and any imperfection will be very noticeable. I don't want to have a lot of empty spaces between each of the flowers or blooms, so I'm having it somewhat close, but not overcrowding it. Again, with that second flower, I put it close to the other bloom, but not overcrowding. Okay, so this is what we have. But it feels a little bit empty below here, so I'm going to actually add some more leaves, just a little bit to the bottom there. I don't really like the back sides of these leaves. I really want the green to be exposed. So I'm going to go ahead and just snip off a couple of those front leaves that are backward facing, and then I will double up on the leaves to make it my own. I'm going to, there's a little bit of a blemish on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and snip that off. But that still leaves these two that are forward facing. If I put this one and this one together, it looks much fuller. And then I can add them down below here. I'm just going to wrap the stems all the way to the bottom. And this would be a good point to determine what length to cut all these to. And I like to have about maybe 1.5 inches on this one. When you get to the bottom of the boutonniere, the stems, you actually want the tape to go a little bit below to overextend where those stems are, because what we're going to do is we are going to flip this, fold this back up this way in order to close off those stems and to seal in the moisture. And then see how this tape is now hanging off to the side? Well, we can just go ahead and flip it back this way and then continue wrapping. And this makes, and then you, of course, this tape has a little bit of adhesive inside when you stretch it, so it sticks onto itself. So just go ahead and press the end there, and then you have a nice sealed bottom. Okay, so next up is to add the ribbon. And we are going to start off the ribbon end underneath the tape. So with the tape being a little bit sticky, I'm just going to press it on there and see how it holds itself a little bit. Well, to make sure that it's really secured, I am going to go ahead and fold this over. See how the tape is folded over that ribbon? And then I am just going to go ahead and rip it, since the ribbon is now secured. So just go ahead and tape that on over and see how the ribbon is secured into that tape. Now we can just wrap the ribbon around the stems. And when you're wrapping the ribbon, make sure that it's covering all of the bottom so that you're not seeing any stems when you are looking at it from the front side. Just be really careful so that it looks nice and neat and pretty. And then from there, just go ahead and wrap it on up the stems. And as you're wrapping, try to keep the ribbon at a similar distance all the way up so that it looks nice and neat. And then you know that you're done when you've covered the tape on the front side. And so on the back side, this is where we will use the glue gun to put a little bit of hot glue here so that we can secure the ribbon. Actually, I'm gonna wrap the ribbon one more time just so it's nice and even, and I can put the glue on the ribbon instead of just on the green floral tape. Just put the teeniest, tiniest bit of glue here. And then fold the ribbon over and hold it in place just for a few seconds until the glue feels like it's dried. Okay, and then you can flip it back out and then just snip it with scissors. And there we have it, a completed boutonniere. And in looking at this, I'm noticing that there is a little bit of a gap, which I'm not particularly liking, but when it's up against the lapel, it should go like this. But just to make sure that that does stay that way, I have some tape that I can use there, a different type of floral tape. So this is a thicker floral tape, and it's also waterproof, but it's very sticky, so which is really great. So I only need maybe about 1/2 inch, and you can just rip it and then just put it. Say I want this leaf to be more this way, so I'm going to go ahead and just stick it on this leaf on the edge, and then look at it from the front side to see where I would like the leaf to land, and then press it against the other leaf. And there you go. Now it stays nice and secured where I would like it. That's what the back side looks like. So the last step is to just add a couple of corsage pins so that the boutonniere is ready to go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.